Where do you want to start?
I think we should start by saying welcome back. More on that later. We're very grateful to have you here. If you've made it through the first episode and are still here, thank you very much. I appreciate you. We appreciate you. Today is going to very much be about Josh's story. We talked a lot about my story and what brought me to the microphone the last episode, and so today we're going to learn why Josh is here and about, well, a general overview of his life and journey thus far. Does that sound right?
Yeah. But that's not where I want to start.
Okay.
Because...
You can start wherever you want to start.
Yeah, that's correct.
Where do you want to start?
I like to start with the bet we just made.
The bet?
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Do you want to set the scene?
Alright, so we're at the beach at the moment. We just went out to the tavern up the road for dinner. We had a couple of drinks, it was lovely. Ate some really good food. I mean, my food was good. Did you enjoy your food?
That was great. Really good.
Great, really good food.
And had some of your food and it was good too.
It was very good.
Yeah.
And on the TV in the tavern was ESPN. Do you know what that actually stands for?
Entertainment, sports...
Politics?
Yeah, sometimes it gets political. Network.
There you go. Okay, so we were watching ESPN in amongst conversation, as you do. And Josh kept pointing out the kinds of men that were playing American
Just
football.
one in particular.
Just one man in particular.
I think it's known as the thrower or the punter.
No, he was the...
Quarterback?
What was he? Quarterback.
Was he?
Quarterback. Yeah.
They're the big dogs. I don't know why I'm looking at you because you know, but like they're the quarterback. They're the big dogs.
Yeah, so we were observing the quarterback. He was giving an interview at the end of the game. And we were just interested to know about his life,
It was also muted, so we couldn't hear what he was saying.
No, couldn't hear a single thing. Josh was giving an impression of what it could have been.
Not now. That's only for live. Yeah.
But we were just, wondering about his life story, how he got to be where he is,
And
he was married.
Well, yeah, and I guess to wrap this into a little bit about who I am, I love to make a big call. Would you agree?
Definitely. It happens more than on a daily basis. Probably on like an hourly basis, Josh will make a big call.
Probably.
That's just who he is. And also, if we were to go a little bit further into Josh's personality, he loves to know, he loves to ask why.
Mm.
He
Yeah.
doesn't know how to not ask questions. And when he asks those questions, you think they're rhetorical. No, he expects an answer.
I'll wait.
So,
I'll let that silence fizzle. Like static. It's electricity in the air.
yeah,
And I won't break it.
he loves it.
I love it. And I guess, it's important to note, I also like to be wrong. Like, I love to make grand guesses about people, and then I love to follow through, meet them, let them tell me their life story, literally in the first sentence out of their mouth. I'll skip everything. I'd love to do the formalities, like, hey, nice to meet you, like, what's your name? But, that truck driver didn't even need his name. Just got straight into the cars and the truck, what he does, where he came from.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Josh will talk to anyone, honestly.
But yeah, so this guy, his name was Drew Locke. I hope someone knows him because I don't, and I still don't really. But I was I was intimating that he was from, the deep south, I would say, of America. He was a skinny white boy. He still is. That's a nice plane.
Josh loves planes. You won't get much sense out of him while there's a plane around.
This is a good spot. Anyway, and I was saying, I bet you, He's young, but I bet you that he's thanking his family, his state, his country, and the people who've defended his country so that he can do what he does for a living. And I said, I bet you that he has a wife who he met not in high school, but this is primary school love. You know, he met her in grade 5 and has stayed true to her to this day, and they've got 3 to 5 children together, and that's who he plays for, other than his country.
Yep.
And his state and his hometown.
What did we find out though?
Well, we found out, so he's 27, so I guess he's kind of young.
Yeah, he's
I
2 years older than me.
got that right. He's white, so I got that right.
Mm-hmm.
I can see. I guess what did I get wrong? He's not from the Deep South, he's from Minnesota, which I don't think is the Deep South.
For some reason, I feel like it's in Canada, but I know it's not.
No, it's not.
No.
No, even I
People
know
always
that.
like say Minnesota with an interesting accent.
You know,
It's
if-
like they're Canadian.
If we didn't have stuff to like get to, I would like ring Josh, who's like the geography guy, and ask him, or Stu. Anyway, Minnesota. He married his partner in May of this year, I believe. No,
April
April. Really?
2023.
And her name's Natalie.
Yeah.
She kept her name.
Yes,
So it was
she
Newman.
is Newman, Natalie.
Yeah. Go through it from the correct order.
Oh gosh. She was a soccer player
Yeah.
of some sort. Sounded professional. I don't know much about soccer. And then it said that she has a degree from Columbia.
No, Colorado.
Colorado. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, they all start with C. Colorado University. And
I'm sure it's like Colorado State,
I think
like Col State.
Josh should be telling this story.
sorry. Well, yeah. So she got a degree. It was in marketing.
Mm.
I don't know whether I feel like she does have the degree, and
I
then
think so. I think it said she graduated.
yeah, and then they kind of like ruined it with these last 2 points, which was like every young female in America who's white.
Who's married or dating a footballer.
Yeah, she is a model and an Instagram influencer.
See, that's the part I did remember. I couldn't remember the first part.
You didn't remember that part? That was the most memorable.
No, I remembered the model and influencer. I
Oh.
didn't remember the beginning part.
See, everyone does, and that's the issue with society. And so I guess, you know, what's the big call that I made? I said, because obviously I kind of made some big calls about who I thought he was and who he was married to, and they were kind of wrong. And so I made a grand statement, and I said that first thing I said was within the next 9 months, she'll have a baby. But then I kind of fought because I was like, that's actually, well, it could go one or
Well,
two.
actually, no. The initial statement he said when we found out that he was married was that they definitely have kids. And I had a look. They definitely do not have kids, as far as I could tell. So Josh then made the bold statement that
Within the
then in
next
the
9
next
months.
9 months they will have a kid.
As I said that, I was like, oh no, she's career driven. She's got a career like before him. She ain't gonna have kids. But then at the same time, I was like, but you know, Instagram influencer would love to sort of pivot that into, you know, family sort of Instagram stuff. And so I fought for more. I thought 9 months. Oh, so what's on the line, by the way?
On the line, if Josh is correct, they do have a kid within the next 9 months, or she gets pregnant. in
Oh, I
the
know,
next
don't say
9
that bit. I'll
months.
say it in a second. So just what's on the line?
You getting your ear pierced
Yeah, which is something that I don't want to do, but Courtney definitely wants me to do. So
could be fun.
could be really fun. We'll do it for the pod. We'll get someone in here. We'll interview them for a second, and they can like do my ear. Because I'm probably going to lose this. But I fought for a bit more because I was like, oh shit, like these odds aren't very much in my favor. So I said, just to make it, you know, even worse, I said, in the next 9 months, he is going to fertilize Natalie. Like 9 months to the day, he's gonna fertilize her. And what that means is that I've actually just worked out, I've got basically an 18-month buffer, like a 9-month buffer period, an 18-month bet, because even 9 months from now, he could be like in the moment.
Yeah, so in 18 months' time,
It's a long
we
time
will
away.
be checking in with the calendar
Yeah.
and seeing if Josh is correct or not.
Yeah.
You know what's really interesting about this bet though?
Okay, what?
It assumes that people want kids, or that people can have kids.
Mate.
But we, on a very personal level, know that that's not always the case.
No.
Maybe they don't want to have kids.
I hope she does.
Maybe not everyone can.
Ah, but they're from America, man. Like, okay, she might not be deep. Oh, she might be. Actually, no. Okay,
These are some bold statements.
you keep talking. I'm going to see if she's from the deep south.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's often something that's put on women, right? Like when you get married, when's the baby coming? What's
And-
happening?
Okay, but can we go into me a bit more? I do love to. I do love to disrupt like social norms, and part of that is saying something in a serious way that makes it sound incredulous, which kind of shows up the fact that it's not. So like that wasn't my intention, but like that's
No.
kind of what I'm doing by saying that they will get pregnant within the next 9 months, because most likely they won't, and that's kind of the trend in the data, and especially for women.
Especially
egg
with
freezing.
people in our generation as well. Like,
Yeah.
she's a year older. No. Yeah, she's like a year older than me or something like that. He's 2 years older than me. Our generation is less and less expressing a desire to have children because of the social implications and like the stigmas around it, or like the the social pressures around it, the expectation that women will just have kids because that's what they want to do. That's what we're here to do.
Mm.
I can't remember where I was going with that.
No, it was good. I was only half listening, but that's okay. So, Natalie was born. Oh wow, Jan 1, 1997.
Wow, new year.
New year, new year, new baby, new life. And she was born in Florida, which is the South. It's not deep South.
Is it?
Yeah,
There you go.
it's down.
Oh, okay.
So imagine the map. You've got like the tail sort of here.
Yeah.
Florida's on that tail.
There you go.
So like if you split it in half, that's the South. That's the. You know what? We should look up Minnesota now.
You gotta do a little Google fact checking, you know. You always have to fact check Josh. So comes out with some
Don't say that.
big facts.
Ooh, oh no. Okay. It's north.
It's north. See, in my head I was like, I think it's north.
So it's kind of near. Do you see that?
It's near Canada.
It's near. Well, it's
It's
on the border. There it is. Can everyone see that? Yeah, so it's kind of like next to.
Where's Minnesota?
What's that falls called? Niagara. It's close to Niagara Falls.
There you go.
It's not. It's like neighboring the state. You know, there's 2 states either side of Niagara Falls. Yeah, it's neighboring one of those states.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Put in your diaries, everyone.
Yeah, 9 months from today.
We'll. You know what? 9 months from today, we'll do a live pod.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Let's make it fun. I will try to inseminate my wife in that 9 months, and we'll see.
I have not consented to this. It will not be happening.
I ruined it. No, I won't do that. I really don't want to have kids right now.
Not the time.
But yeah, I tell you what, if you did get pregnant, we would 100% use that for content.
Yeah, we have a great time though. Babies are fun.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing. So that genuinely, you know, some people are like, you know, I could move to Melbourne or I could stay here. It really doesn't matter next year. And you're like, I just think you really want to go to Melbourne. Like, you're just like, if it doesn't come through, you're just trying to show that it's going to be okay no matter what. Genuinely, if we like don't have kids in our life in general, or have kids, both of those, Like, you never know how the future's going to pan out, but both of those futures sound exciting. And
Both options are really great.
yeah,
That's something that we'll cover more on later.
yeah. Would you say that we'll get to more on that later?
I would say that, yeah.
There you go.
But tonight we're here to chat about Josh, and we want to go right back to the very beginning. So, tell us, when did your dad fertilize your mom?
Okay, this is, oh my god, this is our 4th podcast record. I used that joke in our very first one, and every time she's resisted.
Well, actually, I used it in the first one.
Did you?
Yeah. So I said I was born in Mackay, and he was like, no, we have to go back to the very beginning.
Oh,
And
right.
I was like, so my dad had sex with my mom.
Yeah. So I put the
So
baseball
Josh
up
has been
and
stealing my joke or my content and taking it for his own. Which, I mean, is not super unusual.
no, happy to take content. Happy to, like, you know, give people the props for their content. But if I remember, that's the issue though. Don't necessarily remember. Where did it all begin? So I would say that my dad, what did you say, fertilize? Yeah, it's a fun word. It's very scientific.
It's a really, like, satisfying word to say.
Ooh,
Like, fertilized.
yeah.
For those who don't know us.
Oh my god.
Josh
I thought you were about to say
No.
people who don't know what that means.
No, for people who don't know us, Josh and I first bonded over our enjoyment of words in the English language.
Yeah, so true.
We have a whole Google Doc full of words that we just enjoy, just because they're fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if fertilized is on there, but it will be after today.
It will be now, God, yeah. Fuck. Fertilized. Well, I believe that if we trace it back 9 months, it would have been in the year of 1998, baby.
Which is when I was born. Actually, you were born 9 months after I was born.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What? So you're 4. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm June 1998. You're March 1999. I'm pretty sure that works out to be 9 months later. So whatever.
Not
happened
exactly.
In June.
It's 9 months and
A few
5
days.
days.
Whatever.
Oh, all right. Hey, it doesn't make it any less amazing.
No.
I mean, is it amazing though? Because it's kind of like you got born, and then 5 days later, my parents were like,
But
Oh.
remember, C-section, they have a designated, like, day.
I think they do them early as well because they don't want to like pop.
Yeah. So maybe a few weeks after I was born. Anyway.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Irrelevant.
This is about me. Yeah, so 1999, I was born in March. As Tony said, C-section. Everything went pretty well. I became pretty clear pretty quickly that I had a condition. It's not that I'm unhappy to go into it, but we just don't have the time. Like,
It's a whole other podcast.
yeah,
Episode.
like honestly, like my story and then the way that it interwebs with our kind of story, that's 2 different pods in itself. So like guys, we've got content out the yin yang, don't you worry. But yeah, so I think I can say though that like the reason why it was clear is because going into becoming pregnant, my parents, they knew that there was a high chance that the child they had would have the condition that my mum has. So yeah, my mum gave it to me. If you're a scientist, you'll work out how that works genetically, and we can go into that later. But yeah, so that definitely shaped my life. There's no doubt about that. I am the person I am today because of not just the condition, but the things that the condition kind of, imposed on my life. Changed my life trajectory forever. I wouldn't take it back. People ask, I say there's so much So I'm about to say it, and just know that no one's ever said this to me, but I just say it to a lot of people. I say, people always say, you know, if you go back in time and could change one thing, what would you change? People expect you to say, they don't expect you to say, no one ever else. They expect you to say, oh, my condition, I want to be normal. You know what is boring? Like, being normal.
Like me.
No, you're not normal.
I'm not normal.
No. And this is the thing, right? Like, I mean, Courtney has her own health battles, but she's not normal in her brain. I'm not normal in my brain. And the things that make you unique, this is the, I mean, I don't want to get on my high horse too early, but like when you are a child, you get taught to, well, be an individual, but also more so you're learning about life, you're learning it from people around you. So you're literally mirroring the people around you. So you're becoming homogenized. And then you get into school and that gets even more ingrained because the higher you go, the more that everyone makes you believe that.
They make you believe that there is a normal.
Yeah.
And that everyone should be.
And that everyone else is.
Yeah.
And look, there are different people, but the cool people are the ones you want to aspire to. They're normal, they're cool. By and large, like, I mean, I was cool in school. No, sorry. Better way to say it is I had the cool group in school because I decided I wanted to be cool, and if I decide to do something, that's what I do. Those cool people, that's kind of like they shine bright early and then they sort of burn out. You know, like honestly, think of all the cool people who are at your school. Like, can you describe any of them that are shining brighter now?
I don't know any of them anymore.
There you go. That might be a good answer in and of itself. But yeah, like it's like tell me I'm wrong. Honestly, like it then becomes when you leave school that suddenly everyone's like, yo, like who are you? Well, the world seems to be asking that question, who are you? And you start asking yourself, and then you start to actually unpack who you are, away from your parents, away from your school, away from all the structures that you had come to before.
There's a massive identity, almost like identity.
It's a crisis. It's 100% a crisis.
Yeah.
I've been there. You've been there.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrifying.
But also wonderful at the same time.
Well, yeah. Like I think
for me, it was wonderful and exciting.
Yeah, I mean the journey is exciting.
Yeah. But there are, not so fun parts.
Yeah, and so I think that I don't want to sort of boil the meaning of life down, but maybe some part of the meaning of life is discovering your uniqueness or owning your uniqueness. You know.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a bit of a sidetrack. I was born in Bundaberg at the Friendly's Hospital in 1999. Yeah, we had a bit of a crossover there. Did we talk about that in the second record?
I think we did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So there was a bit of a crossover where Courtney was there.
at Bundaberg for about 12 months.
Yeah, and I was there till prep. That's where Mum and Dad met. You know, those friends you called family friends, where the kids just kind of had to deal with each other because their parents were friends. And
but like by deal with each other, you mean you guys all came to be really good friends, hey?
So true. I love those guys, and I'd love to see them. I've seen them grow and change. Honestly, like they're really fascinating people, and I hope that we get them on the pod as well. Yeah, I mean, I lived with one of them for 8 days. Maybe we'll get into that later. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so like that's the real sort of formative years. But I mean, I didn't spend a lot of time in Bundaberg, but I spent a lot of time in Brisbane, in Adelaide, getting surgeries. Again, yeah, I don't really want to go into that in this time because I'm not that. You know, like
there's more to you than the fact that you have a condition and that you had a whole bunch of surgeries.
There's a whole podcast in me just talking about everything but my surgeries. So we moved to Brisbane. Again, not because of my condition, but actually because of my dad's job. So he was barely into his career, but he kind of already reached the ceiling, and he knew that. And so for him, he knew that he had to go to Brisbane.
Come to the big smoke.
Come to the big smoke. And yeah, so we made the trek. Not everything was buttoned up. I think that's okay sometimes. I think people always say, never leave a job before you've sort of, found the next step or whatever. And I'm not saying go out and just quit your job or whatever, but sometimes you do have to put a little bit of faith in. And that's been, I guess, my biggest learning.
Let's take a bit of a leap.
Learning recently. Because you'd be surprised how it's going to work out. It's not going to work out how you think it will, but geez, I'm getting really profound. I got to drink more. I'm not as funny.
I think that's a beautiful thing about you, though. Like, that's one of the biggest things I love about you is that you can be quirky and silly and immature and funny, but you're an incredibly deep thinker and you have such a philosophical mind, or you are such a deep reflectionist.
And reflecting is the good, because if we want to crowbar my favourite saying currently in there, I'm going to get it tattooed, honestly. I have tattoos. This is kind of like a new thing. Hopefully I have more by the time this comes out. But my favourite saying right now is from Sartre. Jean Paul? How do you say Jean? Jean Paul Sartre. And he says that introspection is always retrospection. And that is my mind. It will think ahead. It will be wrong, but it is always introspective. It is always retrospective. And it's not that I even like it. There are so many times I just want to turn off my fucking brain. Like, honestly, it shits me to tears. It really does.
I think often, people always talk about women in the relationship being the ones who overthink and who are, very emotionally sensitive, blah, blah, blah. And yes, that is true in our case, but it's also...
Sorry, Granny is calling me. I hope that she listens to this later and hears me not answer her.
Sorry, Granny.
Whoops. Anyway, but you're on a great point. Sorry, keep going.
In our case, both of us kind of share or experience the overthinking load.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating.
It's not like you don't overthink and I do it for you.
No. We both overthink. We are both extremely emotionally sensitive and empathetic to the emotions of other people around us.
We are surprisingly similar and surprisingly unique, I think, is...
Yeah, we're so different from each other, but also so similar at the same time. It's crazy. But yeah, Josh, he's a real thinker. Gets me into a little bit of trouble sometimes.
Oh, yeah. And God, I love the trouble.
Sometimes a little bit too much.
Tension?
Conflict? What?
Tension.
This is where we differ.
Sexual tension. Not even that. Just relationship tension. And it's tension where I know I'm right, or I know that you need to go through a growth moment, which is a dumb thing to say. I'm 24 years old, fuck off.
Yeah, what's kind of funny is sometimes you think someone else needs to go through a growth moment, but actually it's...
Yeah, I was going to say maybe it's me. And that's cool,
And there have been times where that's the case.
And I think what's great about you is that you really give me those moments. You let me fall in a structured and safe environment. And you don't even get
mistakes.
You don't even get back up and pick me up and dust me off and say, I told you so.
Depends on the day, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Don't worry about Granny, by the way, as well. She will literally stay up till midnight, 11:30.
We'll talk to her.
It's also half an hour. Oh, it is half an hour ahead. But that's okay. This is only meant to go for... we've already been on for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
We're going to go.
Yeah.
All right. I've budgeted an hour and a half for this episode, by the way.
Josh knows how much he talks.
Yeah. Anyway, so we still got an hour, guys. Let's go through.
Strap in.
We've only got to prep.
Hope you've got a long drive ahead.
Yeah. I hope you were driving the cans.
Don't drive to Cairns right now.
No,
It's fine.
please don't try. Actually, if you are driving there, I hope you are
Please stay safe.
I hope
Don't
you're.
do dumb things.
Yeah, I hope you don't. If it's flooded, forget it.
Josh did not learn that the first time.
No, that's
but
a-
here's what
That's a story that, you know what, I hope we get your mum and your dad on the pod. That would be such interesting to hear from their perspective.
Yeah, we do like our relationship, and then we do their perspective of our relationship, like
Yes.
starting. Oh, fascinating.
Oh wow, I love that. Yeah. No, so we moved from Bundaberg to Brisbane, and I started my prep year. Don't pick your nails.
Sorry,
Don't do that. We paid a lot of money for those.
I was picking the glue that's underneath them.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You can do better than that. Yeah, you can.
Things like that.
See how we go. So yeah, we moved for my prep year. So I've been in Brisbane since I started school, basically. Yeah, so we did my prep year, which was great, and yeah, again, it was marked by challenges in health space. You know, grade 2 was a big year for me. But yeah, like school was hard. I missed a lot of it. I loved missing it. Yeah, I hope that I go into that. You know, there's a big part of that people think having all these health challenges is bad. No, it's awesome. Like, yeah, like it's interesting to think back on. But it definitely left me in a hole in regards to at least my academic space. I don't think that was fixed until about grade 6. I got lots of citizenship awards. I got lots of awards, and I really enjoyed that. But it was my parents were really pushed that. You know, I did a lot of tutoring. And yeah, I guess now it kind of gets to high school. It's interesting, like these years, they were literal years. Like it was a long time. But in the same sort of context, like you can talk about it in one sentence. I find that really interesting. I was just talking about how I'm talking about literally maybe 3 years of my life, grade 3 to grade 6, and I just described it in a sentence or two. And it took 3 years to do it. I honestly think my greatest achievement during that time was learning to whistle. I remember, honestly, half my life is just making Courtney laugh. It's so exciting. Yeah, I remember being like, fuck, like everyone can whistle. I just want to whistle. You know what? None of my friends were whistling. It was all the adults. And I was like, but you know what? When I'm an adult, I want to be able to whistle because everyone can whistle. Honestly, I probably said this already, and that's fine. A large part of my younger years was just spent in I'm gonna need this when I'm older, so I've got to do this shit now when nothing's going on. There is nothing going on. Yeah. Like all these, all my friends, they're having a great time. You know what? I'm gonna have a great time when I'm older. I'm gonna get the girls. I'm going to look better. Girl look is interesting.
You didn't think it would be just one girl?
Yeah, and it wasn't. I hate to say that. There you go.
But it stopped at one.
What? Oh, yeah. And it's not going to start again. That freight train slowed right down.
Yes. I'm the last.
That's right.
Let's be a warning.
That wasn't a question, that was a statement. And Courtney, she didn't look at me when she said that, she looked at you guys.
I know he's charming. I'm well aware.
And you know what? You know what's fucking interesting? Going back to cool people, if I'd have just learnt one thing, if I had have actually... Cool people, they lived maybe not who they were, but they lived a version of themselves that seemed confident. When you get older, the cool people are the ones who you look at and you go, fuck, they know themselves. I'm very aware. I hope you're watching this on YouTube. If you're not, like, I'll put a photo up. I have a tattoo. I have white nails. Like you, I'm talking myself up now, but like people would look at me and I'm polarizing. They either go, well, I don't want to be around that, or they go, fuck, like that guy knows himself.
And it's true. He knows exactly who he is. And that can come with his pros and his cons. As Josh said, like he can be quite polarizing. I love that about him. But he's, we either love what he does and says, or you maybe grate against it a little bit.
Yeah. And you know what? Those are the people I love to hang around with more, because I will meet someone. I literally walk around.
He's a constant. Sorry, I was going to say a constant challenge, but that's not the right word.
No, it is.
But like, yeah, but the way I said it, I don't think I
loved. No, that's not true.
Yeah. Josh loves challenging the way society thinks about particular things, the way individuals think about particular things. And I think that's what makes him really special. I love that. Like, I think bold enough and confident enough to say, hey, I know you might not like this, but I like this. What does it say about you that you feel offended by what I'm doing?
And that's
amazing.
That's literally it. Like, and I think the way I describe it, I love the way that Courtney just described it, is I literally carry around. This is not my true self. This is what's interesting. I only throw things at people that I'm comfortable to be thrown back at me, or comfortable to be tested. I think that's what's interesting. I think a lot of people, everyone mischaracterizes me. Everyone undervalues me and underestimates me. And I love that. I'm the fucking underdog, I tell you what. And so literally I go around, and people who aren't engaging with me, people who are engaging with me, I literally throw myself at them. I throw it and I see what happens. And if they catch it and they throw it back, I say, wow, that was interesting. If they catch it and say, ooh, yuck, and then throw it away, I go up and I say, hey, like, how did that make you feel? Like what do you reckon that says? You just took an entire person in one moment and said, not for me. What was that?
That's okay. Like, they're allowed to say that, but it's fascinating.
Yes. And this is not me being like, this is what I'll be now and this is what I'll be for the rest of my life. I'm not. Like, when someone says, well, I did it because I don't necessarily agree with this aspect, or I found you to be overconfident, and in my life I have struggled with people like that. I go, well, wow, first of all, how can I embody this into what I throw at the next person? Or how can I learn from this or someone's experience? There's something deeper there that has built this, and I just want to learn why. I just want to learn, what that is. So I can't remember where we started, but it's interesting.
I can't remember either. It's interesting.
Yeah, I hope so. I know so. Don't you worry, sweet.
Don't call people sweet.
I know. Fuck it. I just spent 2 weeks getting out of it. But I'm back into it. So I guess that brings us to high school. Both my primary and high school years were, again, like they were shrouded in a little bit of like health stuff. I definitely needed that break. Halfway through high school. High school was tough. But I don't think there's anything remarkable to talk about there. I would love, if you knew the Josh in high school, I'd love to come, I'd love to talk to you on the pod. I'd love to whack a microphone in front of you, because like, let's get it out there. Let's get out the shit that Josh did.
It'd be nice, like, for me as well, because I obviously didn't know Josh during high school. It'd be so cool to get an outsider's perspective, because I've heard Josh's stories. But it'd be so cool to like hear, how other people perceived him, and
because like this is how much I love that woman. Like that scares me, because I may be who I am today, but I was a very different person back then. I was a very different person.
That's fascinating though.
Right out of high school, like there's some shit that I did that I'm not proud of.
It's so beautiful though to like see how someone has grown from one point to another. The Josh that I met is so different to the Josh that I know now.
Yeah.
And the Josh that I met is so different to the Josh from high school as well. Like, it's so fascinating to watch that the trajectory of that.
I think a large part of why we are still together, we'll be together for a long time, is that
forever.
Yeah. We
like it or not.
we grew together.
We did, yeah.
And we grew.
And we're still growing together.
We're still growing together, and that's not going to change.
I think something that's very special about our relationship, if I may interrupt, is that we both probably had a pretty solid idea of who we were as individuals when we first met.
Yeah.
And we've been through a lot of really hard things together, which has brought a lot of challenges, but it also means that like we've had to really just stick together and communicate and know each other. And just work together in those situations, and so we have just become a team.
Yeah, I think that if you haven't experienced like genuine trauma or relived some genuine trauma to get through it with your significant other, don't worry. I don't think you should worry.
But that's one of the things that makes you grow stronger.
Yeah.
If you are determined to get through it together. And that's the thing, like, relationships take hard work. They take two people working together and wanting to make it work as well. If there's one side that's not as in the relationship as the other, that's when it starts to get hard. But like if you're both continually fighting for each other, that's where growth comes in, I think.
Yeah, honestly, it's such a huge part. I can't say it any better than that. It's and if what I said just before doesn't jive with you, I really want to reiterate. Like, feel blessed. Like, feel really blessed, because that is awesome. I'm not unhappy for you. I would say that you don't know who you are. Well,
another bold statement that Josh makes.
Yeah, but like, come see me in 10, 15 years. Come see me like before you die. Honestly, like, I think everyone has that moment where they go, "Oh shit."
And at that point, Josh will also be a different person.
Yeah.
A different person to the person that.
And I'll be like, "Sorry, did I say that? Holy shit." No, but honestly, like, prepare your heart because if you aren't going deep in a relationship, and look, and I'm talking to those people who are saying, "It's just been smooth sailing with me and my partner. Like we have great sex. Like, I think she's beautiful.
We never fight.
We never
argue.
Yeah. Well, do you really care? Because here's the thing. One day, and it may take a while. This is the crazy thing about life. It may take having kids. It may take another person in your sphere dying. It may be even when your kids leave home, and you might suddenly look at the other person and go, "This is getting tough.
This is not the person I thought I was with."
Yeah, and I'm kind of starting to realize that I didn't put a lot in, and I'm not going to take a lot out, and I'm out. That's that. And that's scary. Like, when two people walk away, I think one of the scariest words out there is like the word amicable. We are amicably splitting as best friends, as lovers, as former lovers, as parents. We are separating, and we will stay those things, but we're not going to be together. It's like, shit, like you never went deep, hey, like.
Well, they did, but they grew apart.
Yeah. So I left school. Hey, would you mind, making me another one?
Yeah.
Thanks. And then bringing my water bottle.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sorry, noise.
So I think I graduated in 2016. I was riding high. I knew that school represented a loss. You can't lose something you didn't have, but it was gatekeeping freedom. I love that word, gatekeeping. And I knew that once I got out there, it would be gradual, but I would start to find who I was, and I would start to really just discover what life's about. And that sounds so weird. It's not something that a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old says, but I remember walking. I'd kind of come to the end of my exam block, and it was that couple of weeks before you graduate, which is just a waste of time. And I was walking along GLA 8, and top floor, so you can see kind of like the other side of the school and everything. It was middle of class, I kind of just wandered out because I didn't really feel like whatever was happening. I remember looking around and just being like, fuck, like, I know you want the next couple of weeks to fly by. I know you want to graduate so badly and get to the next part. But I want you to sit in this moment and just be. Because right now you want more, and right now you want it to go faster. But there will be a time where you go, just to take me back to that moment. Just take me back. And so I remember that moment vividly. And I remember this deep, well, it wasn't deep peace because I experienced deep peace and it wasn't that, but I remember this moment just settling on me, and this calm and this reassurance that, oh my gosh, it feels like the storm is coming. I have no idea what's going to happen next. But gee whiz, that's exciting. For someone who's a big planner, that is so exciting. I'm ready and I'm willing. Take me there. So yeah, obviously there's been lots of hard moments, and I hope that we can go into that. But yeah, I graduated. I went overseas. I really hated it. Thank you. Yeah, it turns out I got a sweet tooth. My wife introduced me to that. If you haven't sort of had any water, make sure that you have some. That's important. Yeah, so I guess I knew that I didn't know myself. This sounds really dumb, but I guess I knew that I didn't know myself, and I knew that one day I would miss this moment. But I knew it had to happen, and gee whiz, I was excited for it. And so, yeah, I left school. I started university. I started a double degree in journalism, and pretty soon after school, before I actually started uni, I'd done a lot of networking. I wanted to be in radio, and one of my networks had sort of said, "Hey, there's an opportunity coming up. If you want to be a part of it, speak to this guy." And yeah, I spoke to a guy called Buzz. He has been in Melbourne, Sydney, and he's come back to Brisbane now. He's working on Nova again. Kind of where he started. Yeah, no, he didn't start there. Anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah, Buzz gave me my first gig. It was not paid. Did seven months there, unpaid. Did a lot of other people's work, but eventually I was employed as a panel operator at Southern Cross Austereo, and that was what I wanted to do. But at the same time, I knew that I had to have that floor. I wanted to get that degree, and so I was doing a Bachelor of Business and Journalism, and going back to school, I had to work really hard to get in there. You needed an OP5 to get into journalism. And yeah, I got that, which is amazing. So I was very proud of that. It's the highest academic achievement I've got so far. And I hope to change that next year, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, what was I like as a student? You weren't there for all of it, but I think you could really speak into this quite well.
I was there probably for the important parts. Sorry, excuse me while I make some noise. Josh as a student was incredibly stress-inducing.
I don't stress.
Never. I think he, for a long time, he was kind of like, yeah, I just don't even bother to stress like until I have to. Do you mind closing that door? There's a gecko starting to make its way around. Other one, yeah. Yeah, he's like, I just don't really even bother to like stress until I have to. You know, like the 2 weeks around when all your assessments are due, that's kind of when I start to actually think about it all. And this was like when we first met that he told me this, and I was like, okay.
I was very proud of it.
He was so proud, and I was like, okay, so like, that sounds like good self-regulation and emotional stuff in terms of like, hey, he's obviously still doing the work throughout the semester. And then he only like allows himself to stress when it's crunch time. No, he does nothing throughout the whole semester until the assessments are due. And that's when he starts thinking, oh shit, I don't know what this unit was about.
I don't know the name of this unit.
Yeah, literally. And so when we got together, like he still had 3 prac subjects to go for his teaching degree. And throughout each of those, like it was just, so the first one that I was there for, this was the anxiety level. This was him like shutting down and me being like, oh shit, like he's not okay. I don't quite know what to do with that yet because I don't really know him fully yet. This was the next one, hot mess. And then this was the final one, I can't even reach it. Like, yeah, there was so much anxiety, so much undiagnosed and unrealized anxiety. And such a lack of intrinsic motivation and awareness of like how he could help himself in those situations.
And this is coming from someone who, I love the word that you use, like self-regulation. I have never met anyone as self-regulated as I am. I'm being genuinely serious. I know it's a bold statement. Have you? Like,
Yes.
you have? Who?
Well, I think you use the word self-regulation in a different way than what I do.
Very good.
I think when you talk about self-regulation, you think about it as like, first of all, being able to control your emotions, and second of all, being able to identify your emotions.
And one of those I can do very well. I can identify emotions very well.
Yeah, so I think originally you were like, yeah, I can self-regulate, like I just push my emotions all the way down.
No.
Until
Like,
they explode.
I
You didn't realize he was doing that.
I put them in a box.
You
And
put them in
I
a
deal
box.
with them later. And the later is prac 2.
Yeah. So I would say that's not actually self-regulation.
No. And you know what? It worked for a large number of years.
Until it didn't.
Roughly,
And it exploded
roughly from grade
everywhere. It was a mess.
Yeah, roughly from like grade 7 to, what would that be, 20, when did we meet? 2021?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like what, that's like 6 years, it's like 10 years. So for about 10 years, it worked.
He thought that's what self-regulation was.
Yeah, and until it didn't. And I guess that's the crazy thing. It's really scary. Like when you think you're the master, and like, you know, I don't want to use the word God complex, but like I've used it with my therapist, so why wouldn't I use it here? I had, and in some ways still do, have a God complex, and that's okay. You don't have to like get rid of these things. You can manage them. So you can use them for benefit.
You can work through.
Yeah, you can work through them. And so I genuinely looked around at everyone else, and I was like, God, these guys don't know how to regulate, self-regulate.
Yeah, like these guys are stressing throughout the whole semester, like
Idiots.
so dumb, what a waste.
I stressed for 2
No,
weeks.
they just recognized their emotions earlier and they didn't put them in a box.
Or like didn't sort of refuse to feel them. I do want to kind of go back because we kind of jumped to, I was studying journalism and business, and suddenly I was doing education.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, that's okay. It's really boring and kind of doesn't even get spoken about. In 2019, I start of the year was kind of like not feeling this journalism thing, but business is okay. But if I want to be in radio, I don't need this degree, and I don't want to be a journalist. So that just means, why would I finish this? And kind of had two choices. I was like, do I finish it and then move on to something else, or do I carry on? So I did decide to carry on. In the middle of that year, 2019, actually just in that first semester, I had loaded up with all journalism subjects, and they were all the subjects that were like here's a camera, like a cameraman, here's a suit, here is time, you're going to go out in Brisbane, find stories, create pieces, like you're going to be a newsman, you're going to be a journalist. And I was like, whoa, what happened to just like writing stories and getting marked on them and like pretending to be a journalist? Like, that was fun. Let's not do that anymore. Let's suddenly become a journalist. And I was like, nah, I can't do this. And so I think before the census date, I pulled out and I changed to business. And then I think nail in the coffin was I went in to see the people at QT, and I was like, hey, can a journalism degree get you into a Masters of Education? And they were like, no, absolutely not. Now, funnily enough, a business degree would have, and that would have accelerated if I had have asked the right question, which was, I'm going to graduate with a journalism and business degree, or I'm just going to drop to a straight business degree. Would I get into a Masters of Education? Yes. Could I save myself a lot of pain? Yes. Would it have helped? No. So yeah, I changed to a Bachelor of Education and a Bachelor of Business. I RPL'd all my business subjects, so I was sort of high on business and low on education. And in terms of progression, they don't have a progression for that. They don't make you unique progressions. They don't want to help you because they can't guarantee when subjects will be, and all that sort of stuff. And so that was a real tough time. Would it have been easier if I did it the right way? No, because I don't do university the right way. Hoping to change that again this semester. Yeah, see, I think that's really important. So yeah, like I was doing, first year subjects, then second year subjects, and then I would do another second year subject, and then I would do my prac, and then I would find that really hard, and then I would like go back and do a first year something and be like, oh my gosh, this is like teaching me all the skills I kind of needed like for that prac. That would have been really helpful. And then suddenly I was in a second prac and doing fourth year subjects, and it was all out of whack, and it sucked. And it got harder at the same time it got harder for journalism, which was when it got real. Your first prac is not real, it's just a lot of observation.
Yeah, in a Bachelor of Education, it's so much observation, like teaching.
I did a lot of teaching. I probably taught like 1 or 2 classes a day, which is quite. It's pretty high teaching load.
Okay.
For me, that was a lot.
That's the person who isn't a teacher.
Yeah. I could have the rego right now.
But you don't. There's a difference.
I'll use that money to go and get a rego tomorrow if I really want to. I'm not going to. It's not worth it.
Save it for your tattoos.
Waste of money. Yeah, they pay me money anyway. They're one of my clients. One of my business's clients. Yeah, so I mean, it was really hard. I don't want to understate. Like, I honestly can't. No, I can remember. Like, do we want to go into the final prac? Or maybe what was the second last prac? I went out. It was Easter last year.
We could maybe do like a whole segment on like
finding out your mental health.
Yeah, finding out your mental health. And like figuring out your way through young adulthood and university and all of that kind of thing.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Finding.
Please take your notes. Get ready for a few podcast time.
Sorry. I hate
this is a teaser,
but Yeah.
More on that later.
Connie came up with that name.
It was an accident.
I love it. Yeah, so well, let's get to the good bits because we're an hour in. Should we check whether Natalie's pregnant?
No.
Fair enough. Imagine if the announcement came out right now. Fuck, I would be on an absolute high. I'm gonna be on more of a high in 18 months' time as my ear is getting lanced open to put some jewelry in there.
I'm so excited.
Do it for the content. She's not gonna do it.
Don't get pregnant.
Okay, no. Can I not? Actually, no. We'll cheers to this, which is kind of
It's Josh's thing. He chooses to everything.
No, but this is when I genuinely I feel something. Which I don't feel a lot. No, I feel a lot.
He
these
feels
days.
it a lot. What are we choosing
Not yet.
to?
No, do you want to choose first, then I tell you?
No, I want you to tell me.
Okay. Whether or not, in 9 months' time, we're gonna get Natalie Newman on the podcast, on the day,
Bold.
that I made this bet, and we are gonna.
That will be September 17th, just so y'all are aware.
Huge. I love that you used the American thing there, y'all.
Yeah,
That's good.
Accident.
That's good.
Bad.
We're gonna get her on the pod. We're gonna either talk about how her pregnancy is going, or we're gonna offer her a gin and tonic. In which case, she's gonna have to admit whether she's pregnant or not. Or we're gonna make her wee on a stick live on air.
No, you can't make anyone do anything.
We're gonna offer her a pregnancy test.
We're gonna check in and say, hey, how you doing? We made this bet that if you're not pregnant, Josh gets to pierce his ear. So tell us you're not pregnant, right?
I would love to get Nat on the podcast. Not Drew. Fuck, he looks like a real awful, boring person.
Gosh.
Do you know why Connie doesn't want to get Nat on the podcast?
Why?
Way to reverse it back on you. Because you know what? Connie has these moments where she Connie's quiet all the time. She loves this podcast better than her own because she's not talking, I'm talking. But there's two different types of Connie quiet. There's Connie quiet, content, happy, listening, in her element, right? And then there's Connie quiet, I am seething. And you don't know what I'm seething about. But I am fucking angry. And I don't quite know what it was, but I do know that I said, holy dooly, because I looked up Natalie Newman.
She had big titties
Oh my gosh.
and a nice body.
I didn't see that.
Yes, he did. He's a man.
No, I didn't
You
see.
know what? Every time he does that, it just proves even more that he is a man.
No, I'm saying I didn't see the body. I'm saying I just saw.
He just saw the titties.
I just saw the titties. I can't describe. No, but they.
Go on.
No.
Further.
No, I won't, dude, because they're too big. Do you think they're enhanced?
I don't know.
These are the big questions we have to ask. If they're not enhanced, or even if they are enhanced,
It's not for us to speculate.
okay, fair enough. What is for me to say is that I worry. Okay, I can confirm she has a slender frame. I worry about her back muscles. I'm being Connie. This is serious shit right now. I would pay money, and I hope that Drew is offering this, because if Drew's there for the fucking knockers, he is a stereotype, and that's not okay. I hope that someone in her life, if not her, is saying, I need to have a breast reduction.
I hope we delete the last 2 minutes of the podcast. Because I don't think any of that was necessary.
Fair enough. So anyway, where are we at?
Change to education. You had an interesting last couple of cracks.
Yeah, and I like that we sort of lead that to another pod. I think that's really interesting. Well, I mean, radio was kind of happening along the way here. I mean, the simple way of saying it is that I got my dream, I gave it up to finish my degrees. Is it over for me? Not sure. We'll see. For the moment, it is over. But maybe this podcasting is an outlet for that. And honestly, the biggest driver is my wife. Like, yeah. I mean, let's talk about my wife. This is what we're finally here for. No, honestly, like, no. It's okay. I met you when I was 22 years old. I really want to talk about when we first met and then getting into sort of a relationship and whatever, but I think when I'm a planner, we've already said that, and I planned for this blonde bombshell who didn't really...
Which obviously isn't me.
Oh. Who didn't really have a lot going on up here, had a lot going on everywhere else, was willing...
So, Natalie Newman, right?
Yeah, I can't speak about her sex drive, but my ideal woman was ready to go 24/7. And that's just, I think, being a teenage boy, to be fair. But you know what I found? I found the love of my life, who is a bombshell. She won't let me say that. She looks good in anything. She has... Her boobs are not as big as Natalie's. I'm going to say that right now. But they are...
They used to be.
No, really?
Before you met me, yeah.
Jesus Christ. That was when you were, like, running.
No, before that.
You were thinner then. This is when
We're
you
talking
were...
about big boobs.
I know. No, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Oh. Is your back okay?
No, it's not okay.
Should we be talking about breast reduction?
No.
Because we can put money into that.
Shit changed, it's okay.
Okay, all good. I just wanted
Continue with your story.
to check. No, because I don't give a shit. Like, you could look... I don't care how you look. I mean, you look stunning. As I said to you tonight, you're only going to get more stunning as the years go by. Like, no,
Apparently his ideal demo.
don't use the word demo.
What's the word you used? His ideal demo is a MILF. And I'm just getting to that stage, apparently. Not pregnant, but getting to that stage.
No,
Definitely.
you've got to... Oh, wow. Let me just visualise that for a moment. Not in the pod. That's for later.
So this is the second time we're recording Josh's, and I have a feeling we may have to do it again.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I met Courtney, and she is nothing like I imagined. She's incredible, and she juxtaposes me so well. She is my drive. I think that's a great way of describing her. Like, she's the drive for this podcast. You know, I'm a little bit creative. I've wanted to do a podcast. I've had these microphones for maybe like since 2018, maybe 2019. 2018. And like, she's everything that I never knew that I wanted in, you know, physically. Let's be honest about that. Like, I think she's very attractive. I think she's stunning. And was that the first thing I saw? Yeah, for sure. Like, and yeah, she did have big boobs. You know, I'm whatever. Like, shoot me.
Oh my god.
But as I said before, like, she could turn into a hag. Like, and
Which I will. The boobs will sag.
yeah.
The face will get crinkly.
Yeah, and I cannot wait because it means that we will have grown old together. I'm no Benjamin Button. I will age terribly. Well, actually, I think I'll age quite well.
You'll go Silver Fox a little bit.
Yeah, gee whiz. I get excited for that.
You'll be like your dad.
Oh, oh, man, we'll cut that out.
I love that you sounded more turned off by that. That's why I married him.
My God, she wasn't too like sort of, you know, impressed on what she saw, but when she met my dad, oh my gosh, absolute turn on.
We'll get to our actual meeting story later.
Oh my God.
Just go.
I want to take parts of my dad, his skin, but I have his skin a little bit, like.
You've got his skin.
I've got his skin.
You've got his dark hair, but your mum's hair.
My mum's style of hair, which is great because it means I'm not going to lose it like my dad.
You have your dad's eyes and mouth and eyebrows.
Like all the good bits, honestly. I mean, no, not his nose. He's got a nice nose.
You have a nice nose.
No, I got a beak of a nose.
I love your nose.
It's like a ski jump.
No, it's Roman.
I just read about Romans. They're pretty cool. Julius Caesar, Marcus Aurelius. He was also Roman, but that's not what I'm talking about. Mark Antony. Who?
Aurelius.
Oh, jeez. We're
You didn't read that hard.
We're getting in the weeds here. He didn't come up.
You just said you read about him.
All right. Couldn't do a year of law if you can't work it out. I didn't need to.
2 years of history study.
Yeah, well, there you go. She knows everything that I ever want to learn. So I just ask her shit. Yeah, I met Connie, and Connie, like, she had to go through the hard yards. But what I love is that she must have seen, she saw what I was, and I wonder, like, did you see, like, the potential? Because you must have seen the potential.
Yeah.
But you must have known it wasn't there.
No.
You didn't know, or it wasn't there?
Are we saving this for the relationship podcast, or are we talking about this
Fair enough.
now?
This is all just a long tease. Yeah, no, like she completes me, and
There's always something special there. Still is something special there.
yeah, and the things that we have done together, and also the things that we will do together, is what completes me, and what excites me going into the future. I'm not saying that I'm like done with like change or I'm evolved or whatever. Like, you know, I love the fact that the me tomorrow is most likely going to be very different from the me today, and that's okay. Like, you know, life is a river, and when you learn to let go and not hold on to the bank for dear life, but actually let go and trust, you know, like it's a beautiful thing.
It takes you where you need to be.
It does. It is amazing.
It's always the way.
It may not be where you want to be, but it does take you where you need to be. Yeah, so I knew that I wasn't going to be a teacher even when I was studying because I was hating it a lot. I would say in about August last year, I became a HR officer at a school, Lutheran school. It aligned with all of my values, and the work aligned with everything that I had hoped for in a job. Yeah, I mean, HR was people-based, and I love people. I love learning, I love people, and learning comes through people. Other people know things, and if you don't utilize that, I mean, you're missing out. Like, that's where you learn. Books can teach you a lot, but if people wrote those books. The people can talk better than a book can, and you can ask them questions. And if you actually take the time to listen, rather than telling them your story, like, geez, that's a phenomenal point that you got to in your life?
I think that kind of comes back to our podcast as well. Like, as much as we're telling you our story, we're telling you that so hopefully there's something that you connect with, because we actually want to hear your stories. We want to know about you and about your journey. We would love to have you on here. But yeah, we want to learn and connect, and that's the whole point of life, isn't it? Community.
So true. Like that's what I'm about, and I am I'm hoping to delve into a bit of psychology sort of next year and see where that takes me. I think that's, to me, it's the true form of what I've been looking for. It's the study of humans.
And this is after we've learned that Josh is not good at study.
Yeah.
I think the difference here is that he was never really passionate or interested in what he was studying before.
No.
But this is different. He feels a real calling
Ooh.
on his life.
No, and it's like, it's one of those things like teaching is teaching humans, the next generation. HR is the study of humans' relationships and working together, and then
It's how they think and how they learn and how they are part of society.
Yep, and facilitating that. And then like psychology is the study of us. It's the study of everything that gets us going. It gets to the heart of the human behind that relationship. It is about relationships. It is about the way you interact with people, but more so yourself. What is not unlocked within you, and how can we get to unlocking that? Who are you? Who are you in a very unique sense, in a very important sense? What are you looking for in life? What are your hopes, your struggles? What are the things that are holding you back? How can we get you moving forward, moving efficiently, and moving better with yourself and with other people? I love that. Harper, if you'd like to give me the Clean Psych Masters right now, I think I just proved that I'm ready for it. And I think then I just disproved that I'm not ready for it. Ooh. Yeah, I don't want, Harper, if you're listening, I actually don't want that. I want to go through the struggle, because if I can't achieve it, I don't deserve it. I need the hard yards.
Yeah.
A lot of things come easy to me, including my job, including relationships, including getting things that I want. I can't use my number one asset, which is my voice, which is my ability to talk to people, to get a Masters of Clinical Psychology and a registration.
You have to do the time
No.
and work. Yeah.
Part of it is the interview, which is where I can excel and I can show off my personality and who I am, and that I'll get that in spades. I'm not being arrogant. I'm just acknowledging the things that I know to be true about myself.
It's good to know your strengths.
Yeah. It's the GPA and the study before that. Is there anything else we kind of haven't covered about me? Oh, sorry. So I guess interesting. Yeah, so I was working at a school. I don't work there anymore. They didn't hire me. I filled their gap, helped them through, what do we say, 6 months, 8 months?
I think it was about 8 months.
About 8 months of work as a casual. They recruited for the position. They didn't get it. I think some of the biggest moments in your life is the moments that you don't get. Because the way you...
Closed doors are super important.
And they often are, one closed door can mean 3 open ones.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. Within 2 to 3 weeks of, I think 2 weeks of finishing that job, I'd got the next one. And they had not only hired me as a HR professional, they had hired me as someone who was going to start for a week or 2 weeks and then go away for 7 weeks, come back for a week, and then go away for a week to get married. The 7 weeks was to finish my final prac, do my final portfolio, and that's crazy. I think it goes to show how desperate they were. Honestly, like.
But it's also such a testimony to who you are as a person and how hard you work.
I mean, I told them not to interview
What
me.
an asset you would be to their team.
Tried to. I would love to read the selection report. Josh said, "Don't interview me." We interviewed him. It's hard not to come to the conclusion that they saw something in me, and I can't help but appreciate that. I love my team. Call them my team. I don't even supervise them, but
No, but that doesn't mean that it's not your team. It's the team that you work in.
it's my team.
Yeah.
We have made each other. We're most of us are new. One of us is very old. I'm lucky to be there. I'm lucky to still be there. I have applied for a job there. Hopefully higher. Because I love it. I love the organisation. I love what it stands for. I love the person who leads it. I love the two people who lead it. And I think that there's a strong, bright future there. I guess for me, I'm at a place in my life where I've done everything that I ever wanted to tick off. I have graduated high school. I have done radio and given it up, which means that I've, done everything I ever wanted to do. I have found a career, found something that I really love, and that I can do for a long time. And I'm financially set up. I'm ready to buy a property, with the help of my wife, honestly. And I have a wife, something that was the hardest thing that I couldn't control, and it was the thing that came first, which is surprising. And it became first because she loves me for me. She likes me for me. And honestly, like, I used to listen to that song and I'd be like, I used to listen to so many songs and be like, what is love? What are they talking about? I don't get that. That doesn't sound very logical. But love isn't logical. Love is a feeling, but it's also
a choice.
It's also a choice.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy I committed to that choice with you. So yeah, like, what the future holds is exciting. I know my worth in the market. I know my worth in terms of how to make money. I know that's just going to sound really arrogant, but I don't give a shit. Honestly, like, if you're not hiring me for that, then you're not hiring me for the right job. Yeah. That's me.
That's Josh. I don't think that's all of you though. There's so much more to delve into.
I don't think I'd had enough hot takes.
No, probably not. We got very serious very quickly. But I don't mind that.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to adjust the microphone.
We are wrapping up right now.
Yeah, my posture changed.
Oh, right, okay.
I got sick of leading
If
up.
Courtney sounds more comfortable right now, don't enjoy it because we're about to finish.
Yeah.
But, there it is.
So what's coming up for us?
I love that there are two answers for this. We didn't ask this question of ourselves and make sure we had the right thing to say. I think we've said two different questions to that, two different answers to that, or even two different questions, honestly. For me, unfortunately, I'm very money focused. For me, it is making sure that I get permanency, making sure that I'm continuing to evolve my career so that I stay interested for my relationship and for my work, because unfortunately we work more than we do anything else in our life. For me, that means hopefully buying a house next year, if not the year after. in a very immediate sense, it's having a holiday with you, having authentic experiences. Even more immediate, it will be calling Granny back, hoping I'm not too blasted. I think I'm actually very blasted. Some of the best chats I've had with Granny is when I'm like so fucking blasted. She's the best.
I constantly learn about my husband every day.
Yeah. I love parts of my family. They're really good. I hope that we are in 9 months still doing this podcast. I hope that we're big enough to get Natalie Newman on, not because her tits are bigger than our audience. I went for the joke there. I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry, Natalie. We love you.
No, fuck. We probably ruined our chance to get Nat on.
Dumb.
Now, I want to talk about the fact that you're a marketing major, but then you decided to be... No, you know what? I reckon a marketing major is exactly why you become an influencer and a model. I mean, the model is the physical aspect, but the marketing is the influencer aspect, and you just combine the two.
We need those skills.
Yeah. And then, so what, and I also want, there's so many questions I have to ask. What does Drew do for you? Why did you choose him? Are you still together? Do you hold his seed? Like, that's really what I want to know.
This is my everyday. Anyway, we're going to wrap up there. But we hope you can relate to us in some kind of way. We hope that we can reach you guys.
This is the end of our first week.
Yeah.
Like we're about to...
But not when he closed his hands.
No, we're still going to wrap up.
Yeah. But thank you for being here thus far. And we have a lot of really exciting things that we want to share, I think, over the coming months.
First of all, the audio is going to get better.
It will, yeah.
Like
we bought new microphones.
We have something called an interface. I didn't know what that was before, like last week. We bought it at Express, but I'll post. If you're looking for a sponsor, I'll sponsor you. Next episode would be a great episode to sponsor, actually, in regards to Ozpost. You didn't make it in time. The interface came before the microphones did. We were on holidays. It is what it is.
Yeah, we will also have a really nice backdrop for those watching on YouTube.
Oh my god, wow.
What?
That's something we haven't spoken about.
Yeah, we're going to have a really nice setting.
Where the fuck are we going to do that?
Our beautiful home.
Are we buying a house before we film?
No, we currently have a home.
Okay, where are you thinking?
Somewhere.
The laundry?
No. We have nice plants and fairy lights everywhere. Like, we have so many nice spaces.
We can't film in front of the glass
It'd be
doors.
nicer than the white wall behind us right now.
That's because people can't get distracted. It can't be in front of...
We have a really nice cozy space. This is just where we are for right now.
Yeah.
Also, between the last episode we recorded and this episode we're recording, we've moved apartments because we did not have power in the apartment we booked.
That's huge.
So it's been an exciting couple of days.
It really has.
You made it. You're here. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is the end of our first week. This is not our genuine or like normal planned formatting. It's not going to be 2 podcasts like this. It's going to be, for the foreseeable future, it's going to be a podcast like this where we kind of have a theme. It's not always going to be about, you or me. It's going to be about...
It'll be like a topic or a theme. Yeah,
a topic or a
that
theme.
we both discuss.
We've got some things in the content world. It's called pillars. We're going to discuss those as that evolves. It's going to come out every Tuesday, so midnight on the morning of Tuesday. That's when it's going to drop. And then on Thursdays, do we want to discuss what Thursdays are going to mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Go for
you
it.
Want me to do
Yeah, go for it.
On Thursdays, we are going to have guests join us on our podcast, and we will talk a little bit about what the theme of the week is, but we'll also just talk about their story, who they are, and I guess kind of the same things that we talk about. We're here to talk about adulting and life and professionalism and
but also everything.
Mental health and just everything that's...
But I also hope that we can get on and I'm gonna use the most clickbaity titles that I can think of. And you know what? If you hate that, fuck you, because I hope you listen. I hope you hate listen, because if you hate listen, you're still gonna make me money. And
He's money driven.
yeah,
I'm just here for the fun.
that's all right. At first, we're gonna get on guests who we know, who are part of our lives, and that's okay because I think it gives context.
Really cool people.
Yeah, they're cool people. It's gonna give context to who we are.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that comes, but I hope as our audience grows, we can. I really want to
Get
get
some
people.
of our audience on.
No, not them.
Not you.
No, not till we really tank. No, I hope that we can get on people who we don't agree with, people who are the antithesis to us. I hope that there are a few of our friends that are going to actually.
This is not something we have discussed.
No, but like, I mean, I think even some of our friends.
Josh loves to be challenged. I think we both do, really. We like an opportunity to grow and to reflect and think. So
I hope we have arguments on this podcast.
exciting. Stay tuned.
Huge. But I think even some of our friends are going to offer different. Well, I hope all of them offer different perspectives.
100% they will, because we're all different people.
Yeah. And I want to get into that. I want to get into, wow, so you are older than me, but you are not where I am. You know, where does that kind of leave you? And not to single you out, but like, I have an idea about where I sort of want to go with all of our guests that I've thought about. But the point of the podcast is that you flick the mics on, you only record it once.
Just be you.
And you be you and you see what happens. I want you to be there for that. And if this interests you, I really want you to honestly leave us a review. Not
Please
even
reach
that.
out as well. Like, we would love to know what you guys want to hear about. We would love to have discussions about important things in your lives, because I'm sure there are important things in our lives. Yeah, as much as we're all individuals, we're all different. We're all
Tell us what you love.
similar too.
Tell us what you don't love. But yeah, I mean, my dad has a leadership style called an open door policy. I hope our podcast can have an open door policy. But yeah, I hope that you come back. I hope that you keep coming back. I hope there's something that you have been able to grab onto and just go, oh man, it's Thursday, but I can't wait for Tuesday. And then I can't wait for the first guest. Neither can we. We don't know who it is yet, but I have an idea.
We have a few first guests that we're considering. And it just
Well,
depends on who we have.
Lined up.
Yeah, who
Yeah.
lines up with our schedule.
2 of them have cancelled.
Yes.
Well, one of them said no first up because they weren't available. Second one said they were sick.
Yeah.
Um,
But they're keen.
But
It was just bad timing.
yeah, which means that they're lying and they're not keen at all. But that's okay. That is alright. I think that we kind of have to leave it there and find a way to finish this up.
Well, on that note,
Huge. Catch you next week.